You've heard us talk about them. They're in, and they're on the website.
Absolutely. Our brand new America's Diesel podcast, branded bills, badass, flex fit, performance material, sweat stain resistant. It literally feels like it cools your head.
I don't
It's
know how
amazing.
that's possible, but somehow it is. Yeah, you can rock it. You know, I'm more of a flat bill kind of guy. You can do that. You can curve it. For all you taco holder guys, you can even throw that in there.
Yeah.
And then snap back with a little bit of the flex fit.
Yeah.
Big head approved, small head approved.
And it's extremely comfortable. I almost guarantee, I say almost guarantee. No, I guarantee this is the most comfortable hat you will ever wear. And the logo, rubber, awesome.
Yeah.
Came out great.
Super detailed rubber on there, so it's never going to fade on you. If you want to get one of these in your hands, they are $50, shipped to the lower 48, plus tax, if applicable in your state. Just go on the dieselpowerproducts.com, search hat, look for the fantastic Jam and Eagle logo, pick yourself up some before they're out of stock.
Yeah.
You're listening to America's Diesel Podcast.
From there. Here you go. Yeah.
I found a circle dance.
All right. Yeah, I'm feeling it.
I do. Oh, yeah. Oh, go. Yeah, go.
Yeah. All right. I'm a
I'll be the hype
redneck
man.
redskin.
Yeah.
Yeah, you heard me. I like big trucks and I cannot lie. All you city boys can't deny. When the truck rolls by with the big old lift, you get sprung.
Uh.
All right.
Cut.
That's all I got.
That was good. It's like we're in each other's head.
I did.
We're recording, right? All right, perfect.
Yeah, so we were at.
Oh, wait, we were? Oh,
That's the intro.
I thought that was just practice.
Nope.
Oh.
We were at
Put
the.
that mic on your mouth, baby girl. There you
yeah.
go, yeah.
We were at the
I
casino
can't
one of these.
remember like when you told me the first time, like how close you. Mm-hmm.
We were at the casino one of these times, and I was like, "How do you like this is an Indian casino? Like, how do you get good luck?" And I was sitting at the thing. I was like, "Woo!" And Cass looked at me. She's like, "Don't you ever do that again. Here, like, do not do that." I'm like, "What?" Like,
Felt right.
what do you want me to do?
A spoiler alert: there's actually far less natives that would get upset with that than people think.
Yeah. They probably just
Like, if I
start
was
yelling
walking-
out like some crazy
They'd
like
be like, your posture's all off.
Yeah.
Hey, you know why?
use your chest. Use your chest.
Say with your chest.
You know why you're not winning? You're not holding your mouth right when you're pushing the button. You gotta do it like this.
See.
All good things come with time. Moon rises.
That was instant res accent there for a second. I'm gonna put that shit away.
This week's podcast episode is brought to you by Fuel Bomb Diesel Additive, an additive designed for diesel enthusiasts, made by diesel enthusiasts. Ben, take it away.
Hell yeah, dude. So this is our in-house Fuel Bomb fuel additive for your diesel truck. Our biggest thing here is making sure that you can pretty much always have diesel additive on you all the time. You've got a lot of other additives out on the market they have anti-gel in there all the time. They have cetane in there all the time. They end up being big and bulky bottles. Our standard everyday diesel fuel additive is 1 ounce per 32 gallons, and that's its main job is to make sure that your fuel system stays lubricated and prevents the formation of algae. And it should also help you in colder climates too.
Should definitely help you in colder climates. Along with cleaning your fuel system and maintaining it, it'll also help you bump that cetane number up for a more efficient burn of your diesel fuel. And if cetane is just what you're after, there's the Fuel Bomb Hellfire, which is our straight 8+ cetane enhancer.
Yeah, and you guys asked, and we brought them back. We did go away from the bottles that didn't have the measuring little parts in there. We brought them back for you, so now you can measure out your 1 ounce per 32 gallons for the F-Bomb or 4 ounces per 32 gallons for the Hellfire.
Both these additives are available on our website, dieselpowerproducts.com. Now let's get back to that episode.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Ben, Tyler, and Sans the Duramax Man from Diesel Power Products. Thank you for joining us. This is America's Diesel Podcast coming at you from Spokane, Washington. Make sure and check us out on all the normal podcast avenues: Google Play, SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify, all that kind of good stuff.
And we're not racist, okay? So you guys listening, he's full-blooded Indian, all right? And he's our friend. All right.
I'm everybody's friend.
No, I know, but like if people just listening and we're doing like doing stuff, like we're not making,
We found him on the street.
Yeah.
No, we found him in the woods.
I mean,
Let's be real.
so, Brian.
Hold on, we got to get the intro out of the way.
Oh, okay.
I know we have horrible sync with the intros. Make sure to check us out all over the podcast arena. You can also check us out on the social medias, Instagram, Facebook. We do have a Facebook group. If you're on there, just search America's Diesel Podcast, the group, and you can join that. And we do have a lively discussion going on there. We are trying to pump up our Instagram numbers, so if you do not follow us on Instagram, make sure to do that. You can follow us at Instagram or at Diesel Power. I'm screwing this one up daily. It's like too early for us to start right now.
No, it's not.
Actually, it's perfect time. I just suck. You can find us on Instagram by searching America's Diesel Podcast. We do go live on there just about every Wednesday right around 5 p.m. Pacific time. Have a beer with the boys. Come tell us about your project, what you have going on. Tyler, reviews.
Oh, yeah. Keep those reviews coming in on any of the platforms that Ben mentioned earlier. Screenshot your review, your 5-star review, and send it to podcast@dieselpowerproducts.com. Make sure to include a picture of your truck and an address that we can send a decal to. It looks just like the logo on Sans' sick-ass ADP hat.
You know, I didn't believe you guys when you said those were the best hats ever until I put it on.
Yes.
And it is definitely indeed the best hat ever.
There is no other that is even close to it as far as a hat.
These
like,
are facts.
I
know I'm not wearing one, but just because I recently got a haircut and I feel like I have to have normal hair until my hair gets too long to.
Yeah.
Go continue. It is the best hat ever.
It is the and I was pushing hard for these hats.
Yeah,
I was a buyer before.
Yeah.
And I told you guys, like, I'm glad we did them.
You called it.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
Lastly, if you need parts for your diesel pickup, make sure and check out dieselpowerproducts.com. If you're trying to check if something is in stock and you see that quick ship logo on the listing, have no fear. Click the button, send it, get it going. We do have people verifying those are in stock multiple times per day. If you have questions on a product, make sure and reach out. We have several ways to get a hold of us. You can also, probably the best way as far as getting the best information and being able to talk to a real human, because yes, we do have real humans answering the phone, like Sans here.
I'm a real boy.
I'm a real boy, Grandpa. Give them a call at 888-993-4373. They will give you the best tech support in the industry and the right answers the first time as far as any advice on parts that you need for your truck. If you're listening to this podcast and you do talk to one of them, make sure you let them know that you are a podcast listener so they can mark that down in your order, and we can kind of accrue those at the end of the month and make sure we know the big guys up there know that we're not just down here farting around. We're actually making some sales, maybe have some listeners that are buying parts.
Yeah.
And if you are buying parts for your diesel pickup and you're listening to our podcast and you're buying them from someone else besides Diesel Power Products, I want to know why. Good, bad, happy, or sad. Legitimately, let me know why. I have gotten a few emails so far. Some of them result in actually us picking up new carriers. I know we mentioned before, but like KC turbos, that was legitimately because we had so many requests from podcast listeners. We picked them up. They're one of our best-selling turbos. So if you do have, you're like, hey, I tried to get this, but it seems like it's not on the website or something like that, let me know. If we have a hole in the lineup, we got to fill it. So legitimately, good, bad, happy, or sad, shoot me an email, shoot me a DM, let me know. And if you're placing orders online, there is a note section on there, write podcast in there. If you missed the note section, shoot me a DM, email, let me know your order number, whatever, and I will still add that on there for you. You receive absolutely nothing by being a podcast listener on your order except special attention from me. And that does tend to help. I'm just going to say.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm like a fucking wizard or anything, but like, if I come across something, there's an issue on the order and they're a podcast listener, I kind of just like make things happen.
You're going to get your hands in there and you're going to massage it. You're just going to refine it.
I'm sure if Sans
work out
saw
the kinks.
some of the things that I've done, he's like, you're not sales manager anymore. You can't fucking do that. And I'm like,
you know what?
watch me.
Look what I can do.
I'll fucking do it again.
I just let those go because you know what? I know you're doing it for a higher power other than me.
Bingo. All right, so you've heard us talk about how much we enjoy the Duramax platform and how there's absolutely nothing wrong with its drivers. So
I don't remember it like that.
let's talk about the elephant in the room. Sans, what's your take on Duramax owners? Being a Duramax owner.
We're kind of a different breed. We call everything wrong. Like, I don't understand how we do it, but like, you get a Cummins owner that calls in for a fuel control actuator. They're going to call it a fuel control actuator or an FCA. You get a Duramax owner calling in for a fuel control actuator. It's a fuel pressure regulator. I'm like, no. Well,
Can I get an M prop?
yeah, but
Can I get a fuel meter?
it's like, yeah, but no. Like why do we call it? Why do
Shut
we call
up!
it like that? I don't understand why do we do things different than everybody else. I just don't get it. But we're it takes a special kind of someone to be a Duramax owner.
You're very special.
I am.
In all the right ways.
I am. I didn't actually originally, Duramaxes weren't even on the plate. I originally wanted to be a Cummins owner.
Yeah.
And then I started working here, and I'm like, man, I can't own a 3rd gen or 4th gen like everybody else does. Like, I got to be different. I got to go out and try something different. Because, I mean, obviously, you might as well have called us Cummins Power Products back then.
Yeah.
But that's when I was like, you know what? I don't really want a Power Stroke because I don't want to deal with, in my price range at the time, I don't want to deal with Huey injection. Like, I'd rather have a common rail truck that I can play around with and not have to worry about that. So I was like, well, Duramax is where it's at, I guess. Let's shoot for one of those. And I didn't want an automatic, so let's go for a 6-speed manual.
Yeah. It's a big investment in O-rings being a 7.3 owner. I don't know if
Sam's looking at those and he's like, well, I'm not that dumb.
Yeah. I'm like, it does what?
I've made a lot of bad choices, but I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. But I won't do that.
So for those people listening that may not have listened to the podcast or the episode that we had Sans on many, many, many moons ago.
Oh, that was a while ago.
Many moons, many totem poles, a couple of teepees and sweat lodges. We had Sans on. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why you tune into America's Diesel Podcast, for the flavor.
Yeah.
We do things we bring you the goods at the rate of like the normal American man.
Yeah, I would say that.
Or in this case, the Native American man.
Yeah.
And that's why we have the pass to somewhat poke fun at things like totem poles and teepees.
But we're inclusive here, you know?
All inclusive. Hey, we hate everyone equally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so Sans does have a Duramax. I make jokes all the time about Duramax owners, and also Sans' truck, specifically because I haven't seen it in so long. I question its very existence. But Sans, tell us about your truck real quick. Tell us about the journey you've had with it. Give us the recap. And then we are going to talk about like what stage you're at now with it. So give us like the backstory up until like, I don't know, a couple months ago, whatever.
All right. Well, started off in the end of 2016. I bought a completely stock grandpa truck. It was extended cab long box, 6-speed manual. Not a thing was touched on it. Like no exhaust, no intake, no anything. Like the body was completely stock, no lift, no nothing, stock size tires. And then I got a hold of it and listened to Cooper, our general manager. And it ended up with some basic bolt-ons at first. Fast, S&B, EFI Live. Nuked the stock clutch, had to throw a South Bend dual disc in it. And progressed from there. Decided I wanted more power. I laid down 450, 455 to the rear wheels on the dyno with just a basic bolt-ons. And
it did exactly as it should have.
That's respectable.
Yeah, and looking back at it now, like right now, I would have been completely satisfied with that. Like if I'd have left it alone right there, I'd have been fine. But I decided more power was the answer. So
more power, baby.
More power. And at the time, we kind of all had diesel trucks, and one of the guys' trucks here, he had just done a hot rod turbo on, and it was a party truck, and I decided that I wanted my truck to be a party truck too. So I got similar sized turbo and camshaft and some high flow manifolds and head studs and everything, and proceeded to tear it down and throw new gaskets at it and studs, high flow manifolds, camshaft. Upgraded the valve train a little bit and threw the turbo on there. When I pulled out the stock injectors, I realized that these rusty 210,000 mile things aren't going to cut it. So then I ordered a set of 75 horsepower injectors from Dynamite Diesel and threw those in. And it was a party truck. Like it.
What size turbo was that?
It was a SXE 369.
Oh yeah.
Oh, man, I tell you, like the first time, the first time I started that thing up, and it didn't make the VGT like, and when you're shifting, you know, and it just went, and it sounded so good, and I was so happy with it, and I accepted spool at 1800 RPM. Which kind of sucked, but I knew what I was getting myself into.
Especially when you were driving it with just a downpipe for like couple days.
Yeah.
It was only
think
three.
it
It was only 3 days.
Yeah, it was. That
It's
was.
a very short but fun
I,
time
s-
frame there.
I scared babies.
That thing got down. That thing got down.
It did. Like it like I never put them side by side, but it would easily outrun my Z28 Camaro. I mean, nothing special with the Camaro. It's just tuned. It's an LS1, but the truck would definitely outrun the car. Like it would burn the tires off all the way through fifth gear. It was fun.
I do have a question though, and this is because this is what I always made fun of when you were building your truck. What CP3 do you have on it?
Stock.
I'm not saying that's why you blew it up.
I was
but
like, what did it do? I'll just leave the stock CP3 in there, and that'll kind of be my fusible link. And I won't make enough power to hurt it with the stock CP3 with this setup. And yeah, a short bent connecting rod later told me that was a lie.
effed up, AA Ron.
Yeah.
I mean, it was fine. And then I did a lift in wheels and tires. And I was doing a highway pull and got up to the stoplight and noticed there was some smoke coming from behind me. And I thought it was this old Jeep that was behind me. I was like, oh man, that thing is running like crap. Like the pistons must be trying to change holes back there. And then I pulled up to the next stoplight and the Jeep wasn't behind me anymore, but the smoke was still there. I'm like, oh shit, it's me.
That's the worst feeling.
Oh yeah.
Like, especially, I always akin that to like brakes. Like when you're coming to a stop, you're like, man, some brakes are screwed.
You're
Yeah.
looking,
And
you're
then
looking
you roll
around.
up to a stop sign and you hear that again, like, man, fuck, I'm the only one here.
Yeah.
Damn it!
It's me.
So yeah, I bent number 5 connecting rod. I got pissed at the truck, left it sit for like 3 months. I was like, screw this thing. I just dumped all these parts into it. Why are you crap?
Why did you betray me?
And I thought I was an injector right offhand because, it's like balance rate was like plus 15. I'm like, crap. Like, and it's smoking like crap. Like it's an injector. Crap. So I get a hold of Dynamite and I'm like, hey man, I think I might have got a bad injector from you guys. And they're like, well, have you tried like changing injectors to a different cylinder to see if it solves the problem? I'm like, no. So they're like, we'll do that. So I went home and did that, and it stayed at number 5. I'm like, well, it's not the injectors. And then I got the compression tester and screwed it in the glow plug hole and cranked it over. I'm like, oh, wow, number 5 is 80 PSI lower than the rest of them. There's a problem here. And then I took it apart and realized that, yeah, it was, I don't know, the piston only came up within about a quarter inch of the rest of them. So that's when it got torn down, and I bought a bunch more parts for it. I said screw this, and I went with regular rods and Molly Motorsports pistons and a girdle and a whole bunch of other stuff. I'm like, I'm gonna build this thing for 1,000 horsepower and I'm gonna run it at 7. So that was about a year. Got the engine all put back together. Like it was sweet. Like I have pictures of it on the engine stand. Like it is nice.
We were so excited for you.
I
too.
was so
Like,
excited.
yeah.
I was so excited. Like I fired it up and like it ran so good. Like it was so smooth. I'm like, all right. So then I got everything put back together. I'm like, I'm gonna drive it to work. So I started driving it to work. And I think I called Ben or I called Tyler. I called one of you guys. I'm like, you guys, I'm driving my truck. I'm driving my truck.
I
And
can
they're
hear
like,
it,
and they're like, whoa, yeah. They're like, as soon as I hung up with them, it's like tick, 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 tick. I'm like, what the heck is that? So I pull over. I'm like, oh, well, maybe it's just like an injector connector or something. Like, I mean, it has been apart for a year. So I was like, I'll just drive it back to the house. I'm only like 3 miles away. So get ready to pull out on the highway, and the tick, tick, tick went to a knock, knock, knock. So I shut it down. Got pissed off at it again, let it sit for another 3 months, and then decided to tear it apart. Basically, a bomb went off inside. What?
Oh no!
Wasn't
Yeah.
it figured out it was like a machining?
So I couldn't prove it, but I feel like it was assembled incorrectly at the machine shop that I had redo the short block, and so for everybody that doesn't know, Duramax has roller lifters. They're mechanical roller lifters. They are held in the bores and kept from rotating by a guide plate. Well, that guide plate has basically a piece of spring steel that holds it down. well, I feel like when that was tightened down, that guide plate was pushing up against the side of one of the lifters, and it took 3 miles for that lifter to basically squeeze all the lube out from one side of it. And it was metal on metal and seized in the bore, which caused a chain reaction to bend a connecting rod. My rocker arm shaft split a valve spring retainer in two. Oof. And broke the bottom off of one of the valve guides, which ended up bouncing around the cylinder and bedded itself on the top of the piston and the bottom of the cylinder head. So,
chew.
Yeah, that was a lot.
Yeah.
That sounds terrible.
I almost cried. So trying to go through the process, like when I originally opened it up, I was like, oh, this valve spring retainer broke in half. Like, that's really super weird.
Easy fix.
Easy fix. Like, I called Hamilton Cams. I'm like, hey, man, like this valve spring retainer cracked in half. And they're like, we haven't heard of that before. The only time, the only thing like it could be possible is if it got shock loaded. It's like, but we'll send you another one. I was like, sweet. So they sent me another one, and I got it all put back together. And I also had to replace the rocker arm shaft and the push rod. Cheers to Manton and Hamilton, because they were just like, oh yeah, like here you go, like on us, on the house. So I was like, sweet. So I got it all put back together, and I was rotating it over, and I was setting valve lash again, and I would set the valve lash on that cylinder, and I rotated the engine over, and it got tight again. I'm like, what the heck? So I set it again, and I rotated the engine over, it got tight again. I'm like, well, what is going on here? And then that's when I pulled the heads off and realized that the lifter was not moving in the bore at all. It was screwed. So back out the engine came to where it currently sits right now, which is actually over at my buddy's shop. Engine is out of it. It's all tore apart. And I'm waiting for a block right now to get it all put back together. So hopefully I have it put back together before the snow flies.
So
that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Whatever happened with, I know you were trying to get the block through Wagler, right?
I was trying to get the block through Wagler, yeah. And I think the time frame was too far out for me, so I actually decided not to go that route. Gotcha. And I'm basically up in the air right now. I'm probably going to send it to industrial injection.
Okay. Yeah.
So, because we were trying to get that ordered through Wagler, and I'm like, it's going to be 4 weeks, but that was like 6 weeks ago. If I'd have done it, I would have had it back by now.
Yeah.
So whatever.
Are you going to have industrial just do the whole thing, top to bottom?
No, I'll just have a machine. I'll just have a machine the block probably. Mm-hmm. I'll just send the block to him and have him machine it, and then I'll assemble it myself. So I'll spend the $1,200 to save $600 in assembly with all the measuring equipment.
It's true. But at least at that point, you will be a very experienced Duramax engine builder. Trial by fire.
I hope. I mean, I have put together a couple of other V8s, and I mean, when you get it down to the bare block, I mean, it's a V8. And you get it out of the bare block, there's nothing special about it until you start bolting everything else on.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited for you to get that truck up and running, because...
Me too. I'm tired of borrowing everybody else's truck to tow my stupid trailer.
Because Sands actually has a fantastic trailer that he bought from Tyler.
Yeah. My old travel trailer. Yeah.
That trailer's so nice. Like,
Isn't it?
I got to tell you guys, like, I mean, we're getting up there in age. Like, it sucks sleeping on the ground anymore, and then it sucks. Like, I'm 6'3". You guys ever seen a tent that a guy who's 6'3" that can stand up in that's not an 11-person tent? They don't exist. Yeah. So, and I was tired of sleeping on the ground. Like, I bought it at the beginning of what was it, March of this year?
Yeah.
We had a week-long camping trip planned, and I was like, after we had an experience last year, camping trip where we basically set our tent up in a lake. Well, we found out after the fact, after it rained, that it was a lake. So, yeah, I was like, well, we're not doing that again. Like, I'm just going to buy a trailer. I originally was not planning on buying as an expensive of a trailer, but I'm kind of glad I did, because like jumping up into other people's trailers, like, wow, this thing feels kind of cheap.
Right?
Like, your first trailer like that thing was
dude,
so
that thing
sick.
is built. That thing's built like a brick shit house, dude.
Yeah.
That thing is built tough.
Oh yeah, no, it totally is. Like, I mean, you can walk around in that thing anywhere, and the floor doesn't flex. Like, I mean, the trailer moves around a little bit, but whatever. But I mean, it's like the cabinets are nicer than my house.
Oh God, the bed in there is nicer than the.
I sleep better on that bed than I do in my house, like the one at my house.
Yeah, dude. There's been times when we had that trailer out in front of our house, and for some reason, like I just can't get comfortable. I was like, let's just go out in the trailer.
Yeah.
Why not? That bed's dope. Like,
no, it's fantastic. I never thought I would enjoy trailer life as much, but it's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and again, since Sam's last on, a couple other things have changed. He bought a house.
I did.
That's big.
That's huge. Yeah. That was a big step. You okay?
Yeah.
Okay. That was a big step. I bought it during the middle of COVID too, which was terrifying because like with as up and down as we were at the time, I'm like, man, am I gonna have a job next month? But I bought my house in the middle of COVID. Got a decent size amount of property, I guess, for the Spokane area. Just about 2/3 of an acre. Little 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and nice. I'm in a decent little place. Yard's crap right now, but decent little place. But yeah, that happened. I got promoted. I took Ben's old spot, and he was the sales manager before me, and now I'm currently the sales manager.
Also known as babysitter.
Yeah.
Corey's looking at me like, fuck you.
Whenever I'm back, talking to the back end or something, I'm like, I gotta go make sure my monkeys aren't burning anything down. No, I got a great group of guys. I couldn't ask for a better crew right now. I think we have, of course, when you and me and Tyler and Ash were on the floor like that.
That's the dream team.
I'm biased, but that was the dream team. But I have a close second right now. I cannot complain.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, we got shit done.
Yeah,
We did.
It was pretty pipey for a while there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yes, it was.
So let's stir up the Duramaxes here a little bit.
Okay.
If you had to rank the Duramax engines, people love these rankings.
Oh yeah.
Why?
Yeah. So
It's like stages.
Yeah.
I hate stages.
If you had to rank the Duramax engines, and we can do it one of two ways, Tyler, because we seem to, like, last time we ranked something, it was just engine.
Right.
Do you want to do just engine, or do you want to do, like, whole package, or do you want to do engine and then whole truck?
Well, to me, like the truck portion of it.
from the frame down, they really haven't changed ever since
Exactly.
they came
That's what I
out.
was just gonna say. Like same front suspension.
The way the differentials attached to the front is it had changed in 11, but other than that, they're pretty much the same.
We could do engine and transmission because obviously 5-speed, 6-speed. Like
Now the new 10 that's coming
10.
out.
So I think it makes it kind of an unfair. I think just engine maybe.
Just engine. Okay.
Yeah.
And then
here's what we'll do. We'll do engine, and then after we'll go just like overall. Because here's the thing with GM, they've changed body styles a few times during the Duramax lifespan. So then we'll do what we think looks the best as far as rank.
And then I want to rank. I want to tell you guys what my favorite. I have two favorite Duramaxes, and I know I feel weird saying it. But
are we going to limit this to 6.6s, or are we going to include the 3.0 and the 2.8 too?
No, fuck those.
Fuck those.
All right, I was just checking. I was just checking if they're not.
Isn't it funny? Like when I said ranked Duramaxes, like I legitimately those didn't even like register.
No.
Yeah.
At first they didn't, and I'm like, oh, maybe we should be inclusive of. Nah.
No.
Okay, so starting obviously, so we're gonna go with basically LBZ through L5P.
Yeah.
Do you want to have two generations of L5P, or do you not care?
Wait, no, just LBZ through L5P, or do you want to do LB?
I'm sorry, LB7 through.
Oh,
L5P.
LB7 through L5P. Okay.
I think when it comes down to like the looks, we can do the two.
Okay.
Because obviously there's a change.
Oh no, like the new 20 and up GMC
Terrible.
Sierra AT4s.
Ugly.
I have to disagree.
I could.
The fact that you can put a leveling kit on that truck and 37s is magical.
I know, but it doesn't take away from those hideous mirrors.
The
that have
mirrors.
6 joints in them.
Well,
the grill that is the size of Washington State.
The GMCs aren't as bad as the Chevys.
Yeah. Well, you know what they say though. It's the thing is, you can. I feel like if someone really cared that much, they could change the mirrors. Because there is the old saying, you marry the ass and you buy the tits. So I mean, you could be really happy with a lot of stuff on that truck, and then you just change the mirrors.
But Ben,
what?
They make ass implants now too.
So yeah,
I don't acknowledge those. I do not acknowledge those. Get out. Okay, so starting, what would be your? You want to start from the bottom? You want to take a list? Can you take a list, Corey? Can you pull up like a Word doc or something like that, or some shit? I don't know.
Nah, he's got the original word processor. His old
the
whiteboard.
All right. Let's start with what's the worst Duramax?
LMMs. Fight me.
Yeah.
Damn.
You know,
I have a soft spot for LMMs personally.
An LMM. Okay. The only way to make one decent, I can't say on the podcast.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, the Mexican LMMs.
The Mexican. Yeah, everything's better in Mexico, boys. I mean, Mexican LMMs. I mean, it's basically an LBZ. Once you get to the actual engine, so if you get to that point, like not bad. I feel like the LMM got kind of as bad of a rap as the 6.4 in the Power Stroke world, as the Duramax world. Like nobody wants them. You can pick them up for decently inexpensive. For what they are, for how many miles they usually have on them, and there's some things you can do to make them like uber reliable. They are nice. They share the same weaknesses as the LBZ with pistons. Like if you start to turn the wick up on an LMM and an LBZ, you're gonna crack the pistons across the wrist pin. There's no way around it unless you change pistons. But I mean, other than that, they got the typical downfalls like no lift pump. The suspension is like driving a magic carpet, which is not necessarily a bad thing, not necessarily a good thing. But I mean, that's my least favorite. But I mean, for someone looking for a Duramax, if you can find a good deal on an LMM, like I would probably pull the trigger on one.
I think for the money and what you get, especially on a nice trim package LMM, it's super. I love them.
Especially,
I don't know why. I just do.
Corey,
I have a problem. I have a problem with
a
them.
good color matched LTZ LMM is like
yeah.
Okay, yes. For one, I hate the fenders, front and back. I think they're ugly.
Man,
the whole front end setup on like I don't know. There's just something about them that I'm not a huge fan of. I was in the market. I was looking. Mm-hmm. Possibly getting one when I was looking for my cheap truck. Mm-hmm. One of my biggest problems with them is the interior. Okay, when I sit in one of those and I feel like I'm in a Tahoe or I feel like I'm in a car, mm-hmm. like it doesn't feel like a truck to me. It feels like you just like opened up the what's that wardrobe where the kids go in, they go into another world?
Narnia.
Yeah.
Narnia.
Like you open the door and you go to Narnia and you're hopping into a freaking Chevy Impala.
Okay, well, let's be real here. No Duramax feels like that.
You owned a truck with a knob for a shifter.
Huh?
Sand's coming out the gate with the fire.
These Ram trucks are so badass, man. It's a Ram truck, except for the shifter. Oh, yeah.
I love that when it's like shifter, column, shifter, and it's like, gate.
Yeah. But, that's my biggest problem with them is the interiors. I feel like it doesn't match a truck. Whereas, like, you go to, like, an LML, like a lot tougher looking interior. Yes, they're still luxurious, but you get like a nice center console, a cool looking dash.
But only the 15s and up, because like 07 to 14, they were all the same.
Right. Well, when they switch is what I'm talking.
No, like the 15 up, like Corey's. Oh man.
Yeah.
Corey's got a 15. It's a gas truck. I mean, not gonna shame, but yeah, the interior on I think is nice. And like he mentioned, like they built those trucks for us bigger folk.
Yeah.
Like, they're comfy.
So that's the worst.
That's the worst. I hate jumping on the bandwagon, but the LBZ, I'm probably gonna have to rank that as the best.
Okay.
Couple different reasons. Mainly pre-emissions, like you got EGR and you got CAT, but they had the highest factory rated horsepower. They had the 6-speed Allison. They had the least amount of cooling issues. Like they did huge updates to the cooling system on the front of those trucks. I mean, those, if I could find a low mileage LBZ for a decent price like that, I would sell my truck on a heartbeat.
Does not exist.
No, it does not.
People won't go for LBZs.
It does not. But yeah, no, that's the, I mean, I hate jumping on the bandwagon because everybody says the LBZ is the best, but it truly is. Followed by, I'm not even going to list my truck, followed, like my second choice would be an LML.
Yeah.
Like
There is one really fatal flaw to the LML, and that is a CP4.
Right.
Like once you fix that and do a CP3 conversion and a lift pump, like I would place that at probably the top. Easy.
Mm-hmm. Keep going.
Keep going.
Like where it's going.
All right. So after the LML, then I would do the LLY, and then the LB7 is ahead of the LMM for sure. And then the L5P after the LB7. And so simply for the fact that L5, man, they still have a lot of issues. Holy smokes! Like every time I get on the Duramax forum, there's like my L5P is doing this. I'm like, oh, that's new.
Yeah.
And then they got turbo issues, they got block issues, they got oiling issues, they got injection pump issues. Like we thought we were getting away from the CP4 issues, but they went to the Siemens and it's still almost as bad. So
which they look suspiciously the same as a CP4, but like with another name.
Yeah. So I'm not sold on those yet. If I had a 17 L5P and a 16 LML, and they were both right around the same price, I would take the LML hands down.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. I personally like the early.
Are we doing
L5Ps.
just engines right now? Is that what we're doing?
I think we're just
Or
kind of
just
doing
whole
the
truck?
whole thing.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Like whole truck wise, man. Like the 15, 16 LMLs, like specifically the Chevys.
Yeah.
Fucking hot.
Oh,
Yeah.
Those are sexy trucks.
They
like
are.
the
Warthog.
That's number one to me. Like that
yeah.
body style. I am so disappointed in GM that they only had that for such a small amount of time.
Like you give me that truck, that body style with an LBZ, and then the new 10-speed.
Oh, you pulled a my move.
I pulled a Tyler. Just shut up and take my money.
Yeah. Like I think I'm gonna shock you guys when we go my list because I'm just gonna give you one of mine right now. I would consider the 2020 to 2022 L5P probably the ugliest truck that has ever been created, and that would be the bottom of my list as far as looks go. It's funny because like there's a lot of new body styles of trucks that come out, and then you don't kind of like them at first. Like the fourth gen Rams, like I hated them at first. Coming from the third gens, but they grew on me. I started liking them.
I hated the 11 through 16 Super Duties when they first came out.
Really?
I thought the grill looked like a big fat dog nose.
I guess I kind of felt the same about them. Like I wasn't all in. I definitely like the 6.4 body style.
Oh no.
Quite a bit. Like just I like the big fender vent and just the way that I love the interiors on them.
They say, is Donald Trump an intellectual? Trust me, I'm like a smart person.
I'm like a smart person. But yeah, as far as gosh, I literally every other truck up there except for that 2020 to 22, like that freaking step in the bed, in the front part of the bed, hideous. The step in the back, hideous. The front end, ugly as shit.
I know it might look hideous, but like I thought the step on the back of Super Duty tailgates, the newer ones, was the dumbest thing.
Oh,
ever.
the fold out.
Yeah, when they first came out, I'm like, this is the dumbest thing ever. And then I used one, I'm like, this is the greatest thing ever. So I mean, I can imagine like trying to get up in the middle of the bed, on that truck, especially since especially the AT4s, like they started life off a little bit higher than everything else. Like trying to reach in the middle of the bed, like. I could appreciate that step.
Yeah, and then the new
step.
ones have what they call the multi-pro tailgate.
Oh yeah, no, that's dumb.
That is too many parts. Too many parts in that tailgate. Tailgate is supposed to be a tailgate.
Like just open it or close it. Like don't
it.
go halfway. No.
There's a company, Gen Y Hitch, that actually made a bump stop, like a rubber for like your hitch that's in your receiver. They made a little rubber piece that goes on to your hitch, so when you accidentally drop down your tailgate, it doesn't completely annihilate it when you drop it down.
I thought that was going a whole different direction.
Yeah.
And Tyler's talking about it's got this rubber thing that goes on your hitch for when you got to plug it into your receiver.
Yeah. For when you bend over and your wife backs it up at you. Yeah, and we're jumping around like a mofo.
Yeah,
right
no,
now.
that's
I abandoned the list.
Yeah, screw the list.
no, I mean that. Yeah, no, for Duramaxes, that's my personal opinion.
I'm gonna spit mine out just real quick because it's gonna be quick. So obviously the 15 to 16 LML top dog, second L5P, 17th or 19, third
they're nice.
LBZ, fourth LLY, fifth LB7, sixth LMM, 7 L5P 2020 plus.
All right.
Ben, I know you're LML top for you.
Actually, no.
Ben hates them all.
A little bit. My number one favorite.
You're gonna say LOI, aren't you? Or I thought you were number one, like hated one.
No, my number one favorite is the I believe the 0304 LB7s. When they went to the later style interior,
Yeah.
but they still had, and they have that kind of cowl hood on it.
Yeah, so Cat Eye LB7. Yeah.
No, not a cat eye.
Cat Eye 0307.
Maybe it's an 02 then. But before, when they went from the wonky door switches to the later style interior, because they remember like Suburbans, they never went cat eye. I swear there are like later style LB7s that are the newer interior. Without being
I'll have to look.
Fact checker.
Without being
I'll have to look.
if that's the
Jim
case,
Lawrence?
then I'm just gonna I'll change that to an 03 to 04 GMC LB7.
Okay.
Then it's not cat
Fair
eye.
enough.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of cat eye. Period. Like I don't. It just they're not my favorite. Like I've seen them done, and some of them are like, oh, that doesn't look bad. I don't like them. I'm just not my fan.
I thought you liked it for like bull nose, brick nose, cat eye.
Yeah. Meow. Brick. Bull.
Strong like bull.
Strong like bull. Cat meow.
Yeah. All right.
But that is my probably my number one favorite. My number two, I freaking love LMMs. I don't know what it is about it. I love LMMs.
I knew it was high on the list.
Yeah. Three would.
So you would say that an LMM is better looking than an LML?
I love the color matched LMMs. I don't know what it is. I just
Dude,
freaking
the
love
corner
them.
of that bumper is freaking like 8 feet tall.
Yeah, but when it's color matched, it looks great.
Then it looks even bigger.
It looks small, actually. I swear it does. I would put the early L5Ps up there as well, and probably LML, late style L5P, and then LBZ, and then my least favorite is the LLYs.
Ouch.
Yeah, ouch. Yeah, you know Sam's
Why?
has one, right?
Yeah. Why? Because the LOY, and I get why they've risen in popularity, because a lot of other trucks have had this happen as well. Because all of the trucks that people actually want are getting bought up, or if you can find them, they're like super high mileage and they're beat up. So they look for the next best thing. And the next best thing for someone with an LBZ is an LLY. And the LLY is just a lower horsepower version of the LBZ with computer issues.
Right. Yeah.
They've all got shit suspension in my eyes. They're not solid axle, so they're all just cars.
Actually, Benjamin. The 04 and a half to 05 LLY is actually a closer cousin to the LB7, just with the VGT turbo and external injectors. Now the 06 and 07 LLY. So I don't know if anybody's shopping for trucks and they see 06 LLY, like don't be afraid of it. Like it's not an 05 LLY stuck in an 06 truck. Like the 06 LLY is exactly identical to an LBZ in every aspect except for the tuning on the computer. Like 06 LLY, you can throw a tune at it and you pretty much have an LBZ. 04.5 to 05 LLYs. You throw a tune at it, and you have blown head gaskets.
Yeah. Could you imagine if they did a 2000? Because like, look at that picture that we have for the 92 to 2000. That body style, but with a 6.6, like the same engine as the LB7.
I mean, it
just did it for
exists.
1 year.
It exists.
I know
but
people do it,
It's
but
just not. Yeah,
but like from factory.
that'd be hot.
Oh God, people will be wanting that truck more than probably any of these trucks.
Yeah, that
That'd
would be the holy grail, as they say, for stuff like that.
That would, yeah.
That would be badass.
Yeah, that would be dope.
So, Sans, what's the worst Duramax joke you've ever heard? Don't worry. Podcasts just live forever. The internet's forever. You know. We're waiting.
The worst Duramax joke I've ever heard.
Or what's the worst thing you've heard someone say about Duramaxes?
The worst thing I've heard someone say, I believe you've said it.
Can we Photoshop a little crown on my head? Right here?
No.
Winner!
Like, I don't remember.
You
I don't
put them
know
on
what you
the
said.
spot.
Like, my memory sucks. I mean, people give Duramaxes all kinds of crap. Aluminum heads. Everybody hates aluminum heads that doesn't have a Duramax and like 6 liters. I mean, like of course, the Cummins crew is always the number one to give Duramaxes crap. So I mean, Cummins crew believes that if it's not an inline 6, then it doesn't exist. And
Fair assessment.
Duramaxes are of course a V8, or if it
6 in a row, ready to
yeah, ready to tow.
Damn right.
Eight and a V, you sit to pee. I mean, everybody associates Duramaxes with shiny pants, wearing basically frat boys that bought it with daddy's money type deal. But it's that's probably only partially true.
Okay, so if you were you were the head of the Duramax pickup division, and you had power to change anything, but only one thing about
I would have made
these
it solid
trucks.
axle.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
That's honestly, like, to me, probably like the biggest thing. But here's the thing: a lot of people like them. Again, they buy them for the ride quality and the comfort, which I understand. I totally get.
Well,
The thing that bothers me though is when people start lifting them, like especially insanely high, and you're like putting on blast this like absolute shit front end suspension like that you could see even more of now, but there's nothing there to really look at that's even like cool looking.
you haven't gained any ground clearance.
0 ground clearance gained,
The only ground clearance you gained is from putting bigger tires on it.
and you've more than likely completely destroyed your truck to the point where you can't even bring it back to the original because you're cutting cross members to put the lift kit on.
No, it is very tough to bring a Duramax back from the dark side.
Yeah.
I mean, there's ways to do it, especially on the 01 to 10s, because every lift, anything over 3 inches or most of the 3-inch ones require you to cut one of the mounts off of the differential, which is one of the points of no return. But Cognito makes a bolt-on bracket that replaces that mount and adds that mount back on your differential so that you can bolt it back in that spot if you ever wanted to go back. So, I mean, there's ways to come back. I haven't researched LMLs enough to know if there's ways to come back from those. But 0 to 10 guys, you got something to look forward to. If you're buying that truck and it's got a 6-inch lift on it, you're like, I don't want this 6-inch lift. There's a way to get it back to stock.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Speaking of suspension,
It sucks.
I know it doesn't apply to some of these trucks, but the kit that I'm thinking of. But what do you think would be like the best bolt-in?
That's like
No.
4 in a row.
No,
You should probably take that.
take that.
Sans' lady's calling him 4 times in a row. Usually that's the sign of like one of 2 things. Either they haven't had a talk yet of don't call me just to ask me how my day was 4 times in a row, or something's actually wrong.
Yeah.
So he's talking right now.
Yeah. We're listening.
Yeah, we're trying to listen right now. We'll give you guys like the lowdown scoop in a minute here. Everything's fine. Okay. No emergency.
See, I just usually answer the phone on the podcast. But as far as suspension kits, Sans, what would you say single best suspension kit that you could buy for maybe not all the Duramaxes, but most of them? And I have a kit in mind, and I hope you say the
I know
same
which one you're
thing
thinking
that
of.
I'm thinking of.
100%.
You do?
Well, you're thinking of one of two things. Well, you're going to say one of two things as far as being able to put 37s on an ET4, but let's rule that out. And
So I have a 4.5 inch kit on mine. If I had to go back and do it again, probably 4-inch Cognito kit.
Oh, wow. Not what I would have thought.
No?
But I know this doesn't fit all years, but the BDS coilover conversion kit is the dopest thing that they've ever made for a Duramax.
Oh man, I was so upset when they came out with that. But I would have to ride in a truck with it and ride in a truck without it to be able to justify a $7,000 lift kit.
Oh god, but it looks so cool.
It does. Like to look in there and see those Fox 2.5 inch coilovers, like that.
An
one.
actual true upper and lower control arm, like
Yeah,
works.
like with somewhat, like somewhat legit upper and lower control arms. But I mean, other than that, there's a ton of companies out there that do like mid travel or long travel kits. Like if I had infinite money to do it all over again, you would either get a straight axle, or I would stick a long travel kit on it with coilovers and some fiber fenders and stuff.
yeah. All right.
But probably more straight axle.
Semi-cab, long bed, manual truck, long travel front with glass fenders.
That doesn't exist.
Yeah, you'd be pissing a lot of people off in like the right way.
Yeah.
But like you were saying before, as far as like not having a solid axle truck, I mean, it fits that space in the market for all of the Starbucks folks and the mocha truck bullshit and ladies, that want a truck that
You can go to Nordstrom's with it and park it in the parking garage.
you can drive and put your makeup on at the same time because it rides so dang smooth.
Yeah.
I see more ladies drive Super Duties and Rams though. than I do
That's actually, yeah.
He's not wrong.
Yeah.
no.
That's true.
But yeah, I mean for comfort and handling, and if you want to have your truck drive like a car, like I guess it's okay. But I grew up with leaf spring 70s Fords and stuff, and I like my truck to drive like a truck. I'm sorry, it's a solid axle.
I mean, you got my respect. I'm a leaf spring front end solid axle man myself, so
Yeah.
I'm not pulling any punches on that one.
Yeah.
Leaf springs or die. Poor man springs.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do leaves on it, of course. I would.
Oh God, no! You solid axle that truck and you put leaves on it, like Sans.
What is wrong with you?
We need to have a talk, man. Like, are you okay?
Yes.
No, it was
Is something wrong?
like what I had pictured in my head when I was like thinking about actually trying to solid axle it was Super Duty front axle, so 05 and up Super Duty front axle.
Oh yeah.
And then I don't know how I would do it. I'd have to have some custom brackets made, but I wanted Carly radius arms on it. Like I wanted to look at my truck and see that big old Carly sticker on it. But you know why? Because Carly doesn't make anything for a GM.
Yeah, they know better.
Yeah, and then you have to figure out the whole lug pattern. So you have to put a rear differential on there or something like that, a rear axle, because you'd be
I'll just
8 on 6.5 and 8 on 170.
Yeah.
I'll just buy 2 different wheels. I won't
Yeah,
rotate
screw
them.
it. Screw it.
They're priorities, people.
Yeah.
And the one thing I don't like about folks that have solid axle swapped GM trucks, and it's because you're doing the solid axle swap, but because the frame seems to get narrow towards the front. I always feel like when you see solid axle trucks, that it looks like they're on stilts in the middle. Like the wheels are so far out, the suspension is so far in on the axle. I don't know, it looks off to me. I could be wrong, but maybe because I see it, I'm like, God, that was a waste of money.
Like you're probably looking at the guy who did it in his backyard.
Right.
Driveway.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever actually seen a properly done solid axle swapped.
Follow WFO Concepts on Instagram then.
Is that Wide Fucking Open Concepts?
I believe so. They
That's my
are
kind of
cranking out some nice work.
Nice. That's a good name, WFO. I appreciate when people make names that are like,
BMF.
yeah,
Yeah.
bad motherfucker.
Yeah.
BDS, big dick suspension.
So you being a Duramax guy, Sans, do you consider the 3.0 and the 2.8 a Duramax, or is that just bullshit?
Yours is
Go.
Brandon.
I don't know, Tyler. I will answer your question with a question. You being a Ram man, did you consider the EcoDiesel Ram?
It's not a Cummins though. They're not calling it a Cummins.
Damn it, you got me there.
Yeah.
No.
You can call a lot of things Duramax. Hit
I
other Duramaxes, but those.
I don't.
Those?
I know they have a place, but I refuse to acknowledge them.
Good answer. Jot that one down.
Correct.
Yeah, correct.
Just like, do I consider the 3.0 Power Stroke a Power Stroke?
Yeah.
It probably has more in common with the 6.7 than the 3.0 Duramax.
It's got more
does.
power than
Yeah.
your 7.3.
But still, I don't. Power Stroke's a V8, my friend.
Yeah. That's
That's
it.
it.
It's got
That's
more
it.
power than your 7.3 does.
It does. Okay, I get it. All right. We got like 220 horsepower at the crank.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it.
But it will never die.
Never die.
Well, it can, but
Can.
most of the time they
You'll
don't.
lose an
ever die.
O-ring.
Yeah.
H-Pop has entered the chat.
Yeah. Hey, watch this.
God, it's like that meme that I made a while back ago. It's like your truck will never wake up and leave or like decide it doesn't love you anymore. It's like 24 valve second gen. Hold my beer.
Yeah. VP44. Here we come.
Yeah.
No, I do have to hand, me being a Cummins guy, there's actually quite a bit of similarities between a Cummins and a Duramax. As far as
Like what they run on diesel?
they're both common rail. They both use solenoid type injectors for most of the years. They both use a CP3.
For some of the
So
years.
they've got for some of the years, but Ram screwed up for 2 years and then they fixed it. Thank you. But I mean, there's some similarities there.
Yeah, I don't know how spicy we can be, but Ram, what were you thinking?
Well, I know that, but they knew. Like they were like, "Oh shit! How quick can we change this back?"
Yeah, I immediately regret
Yeah,
this decision.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
was there a miscommunication? Like, did someone delete an email or something that the new like the 19s and 20s were coming with a CB4? Like, and we didn't catch it for 2 years. Like, what? I don't understand what happened.
I bet you know what happened. So they were having a conversation, and this would be kind of like on our what happens in the back room at manufacturers like Ram
Yeah.
or Chevy or something like that. So they were having their budget meeting, and they were like, "Well, we got to cut some budget somewhere. We'll cut some budget we'll change to CP4s and the Cummins trucks. That's what we'll do."
Yeah, I mean, Ford's using them.
Yeah.
GM's using
It's
them.
great. It's great. Everything's
Yeah, I
fine.
mean-
and then they did it, and they're like, "Oh shit, that's a terrible idea. We got to fix this. What are we gonna do?" By the way, I figured it out. SRT. Hey, was it Daryl in the back?
Yeah, yeah,
By the way, the program's you're done
yeah,
in
yeah,
2 years.
yeah,
You know what to do. And
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
say no more, fam.
yeah, yeah. I got this.
We got like 45,000 Hellcats, and we don't have enough vehicles. So call Janine with the vans and get her down here. Put those fuckers in the vans. We're gonna put some in the Jeeps, and yeah.
And oh yeah, bring that CP3 back, you freaking
Yeah.
idiots.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly what
I
happened.
don't understand. Like, was
It was a Jeff at Ford situation.
the engineer not privy to all the issues that GM and Ford had with the CB4?
Yeah, you know what? I read about why they changed, and one of the things that they
It was
said.
emissions, wasn't it?
No,
it's-
no, this is the
it's bogus.
stupidest shit ever.
It makes me so mad.
Wait,
I'm waiting.
no, wait.
As in,
The
As
physical
in,
mass,
as in
the weight
the
of
mass
the part.
of it. Yeah, it's lighter.
okay.
That's it. Like that was one of the. Well, the CP4 is lighter by 12 ounces.
Just to give you guys a scope here, for those of you that may not know how much CP3 or CP4 weighs, shipping weight in a box, a brand new CP3 is what, like 12, 15 pounds?
I was going to say
Not
12
even-
pounds.
Yeah.
12 pounds maybe. And that's like shipping materials and everything in the box.
Yeah.
So you figure if they have deemed, let's say it's 100% lighter, it's 12 pounds lighter.
Yeah.
Did it make that big of a difference?
You have 100% more issues.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, and the thing that I don't get is like GM, like at Ford right now, like they keep using them.
Yeah.
Like they're just like, well, whatever, you know.
Well, I do think Ram was probably
the devil you know.
yeah.
they were really after trying to, in my opinion, okay, again, my opinion, I don't know exactly what happened, but I like to try and put myself in other people's shoes and like think about, okay, I have a feeling they were trying to chase a more power and cleaner emissions by, higher injection pressure, which CP4s do technically make more pressure than most CP3s, but they are a low volume pump and just not as reliable as you've seen on the internals. If you guys don't know, me and Tyler actually tore down a CP4 and a CP3 next to each other. It's a great episode. I don't remember what number it is, but make sure and check that one out. And we actually talk about why, basically was it like a lifter almost on it rolls sideways. It's got a roller on it.
Yeah, it's like a whole. It's basically like a hollow lifter
with a roller.
With a roller on the end of it, but
with
there's
no
nothing
way to
that
keep
is
it straight.
Yeah, there's nothing that is retaining it in its position, so it
Just
can
a hope and a pray.
Just good luck.
But then a CP3 is basically just like a flat tap cam.
Just works.
And it always
And do you know what the funniest part about that episode is? That CP3 that we took apart looked like total shit. It looked like it stayed outside for probably 5 years.
Yeah.
Like it was total. We took it apart and we're like, this son of a bitch may run.
Yeah.
Like it looks like this CP3 could probably still work after just being cleaned up inside and put it all back together. And I bet you that thing would have made pressure.
Yeah. The tolerances, everything still fit tight.
Yeah.
Like I'm not saying you're gonna make a bunch of power, but like
and
will
we're
the truck
no
start?
experts.
Probably.
Yeah, like we're no experts. Like I'm sure there was something that was completely jacked up in it, but I bet you if we would have put that into an engine, put that on an engine or a test stand, I bet you it would have made pressure, and I bet you it would have the truck would have ran with that pump.
So, Sands, you've had some experience as far as hands-on with some other diesel trucks. For those of you that don't know, you've heard Sands about what he drives, and he's a Duramax man. What is your? We like to give people kind of like the background. What's your background as far as diesel stuff goes? Like, what got you here?
So I came out of high school, wanted to go into auto tech class. I decided that was a no-go for me after working on some semi-trucks. I was like, these are way cooler. So I decided to go into diesel and heavy equipment, and I worked as a technician at a Volvo semi-truck dealership for a while. That was all fine and dandy, and I went to work for a couple of different farmers and stuff, maintaining their equipment. I kind of decided that I really didn't want to wrench on something for a living, so I went into business I got hired at a semi-truck recycling yard, and I tore apart those for a little bit, and then basically moved into sales, and I was just like, oh, this is way better, like, less stress on my body, like I come home clean every day, so I decided to kind of stick with the sales thing, and did that for a few years, and then I wound up here through a radio ad, actually. I was listening to the local rock station, and there was a radio ad for.
Yeah, we had a radio ad.
It was
that.
way back when.
Yeah.
But,
Who did the ad?
I think it was just a paid for ad
Yeah,
because I
we wrote a script for
didn't
it.
recognize
Oh, so
anybody's
that-
voice.
Yeah, it was just a radio voice.
Yeah, it was just radio
No,
voice.
that was a thing.
I totally
Yeah.
forgot about that.
Yeah. So I
We were hurting for sales guys real bad. We don't
apparently
fucking radio
you
ads.
guys hired me. So I went on the website and threw in my resume, and I waited for a little bit, and then I called in because I hadn't heard, and I think I talked to Tyler actually, and Tyler was like, "Oh, let me get you up to Cooper." So I shot him up to Cooper, and I talked to Cooper for a minute, and Cooper's like, "Okay, well, yeah, we'll let you know." I was like, "All right, sweet." And then a couple of weeks went by. I'm like, "Well, I didn't get it." And then Cooper called me. He's like, "Hey, you want to come in for another interview?" I'm like, sure. So that's when I came in, and I met with Tyler, and Tyler's like, he talked to me for like 5 minutes. He's like, "All right, well, I've seen everything I need to see," and then I got hired the next day.
Yeah. Quick and easy. That's how I do it.
Quick and easy.
But hey, my success rate is actually pretty damn good because he's still here.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically trial by fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I have worked on several other things outside of here. A couple 7.3s. Never touched a 6.0. Never want to really touch a 6.0. 6.7.
On behalf of 6.0s, we don't want you either.
Yeah, no. 6.7 Power Strokes. Worked on a couple there. Actually, fantastic engine. I'm a Duramax guy. Everybody labels me as a Duramax guy, but my next truck, probably a 6.7 Power Stroke. Probably an Illuma Duty.
Yep.
So 17 to 19, get the 2020 with the new transmission. But 17 to 19, if I could find a good deal on one of those.
That's going to be hard because Tyler was not No, you were looking more for like 11 to 16, weren't you?
I was looking at all years. I definitely could not afford the 17 and ups. The prices that they were getting were $20,000 over what I paid for my brand new truck with 0 miles on it.
Yeah, they are charging a premium for Power Strokes.
Yeah, I mean, I knew what I was getting into even with my truck. I'm like, but I'm okay with it. Like it's got a CP3.
Dodge that.
It does have a 68 RFE.
Didn't dodge that bullet.
Yeah. Well, I honestly thought it was a CP4 truck, and I had already had like
You're basically
envisioned
ready to order.
a
retro kit.
the BD kit for it. Then I popped the hood on it, and I'm like, CP4 looks just like a CP3.
Weird.
That is CP4. That's just. And I texted you or called you. I was like, dude, they switch? Because I don't know where I missed that memo that they had switched back. Because I was like, that's a fucking CP3.
Yeah.
Like-
well, I thought you had a 20.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, it's a CP4.
Yeah,
And you're like,
no,
what's
it's a
21? I was like,
21.
oh, CP3, dude. You're like, no way. I'm like, yeah, like, look at it. It's a CP3. Yeah!
Yeah, like I don't know where I missed that memo because I knew I was like, oh, it's a CP4 track. It's a CP4. I don't know. Honestly, I probably missed out on a lot of like new shit just because what I was doing with like I'm working on parts for every truck, you know, and you know there wasn't the CP3 conversion kits were released from BD, and I just assumed without doing any looking into it because honestly at that point too, like it was kind of came up on us. Like I wasn't really expecting getting a new truck, and then I was like, okay, sweet, let's do this.
And for some reason, I always thought it was a 20. For the longest time, I thought it was a 20.
Yeah,
I thought it was a 22.
Yeah.
Not like a 22, but I thought it was a 20 also.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's transition a little bit here because we talk about all things on this podcast, and that doesn't limit us to talk about hot rods
Ooh.
and gas cars
Ooh.
and stuff like that. So if you listen to one of our previous episodes, like obviously we're all motorheads in general, and most motorheads all get started from classic cars, whether that's from dad, magazines, TV, something like that. Classic cars.
I actually got
towing
started
cars.
from boats.
You serious?
Wow, you're a dangerous human being.
Yeah.
I grew up working on boats, like probably from the time I was 10. Working on boats with my grandpa. Like, I mean, when I say working, I mean handing him the wrenches and getting yelled at. But you know that's what I grew up with.
Holding the flashlight incorrectly.
Holding the flashlight incorrectly, which I mean, nice thing about boats is most of the time everything's out there, so there's minimal flashlight holding. But grab the wrong wrench and no.
Dang, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But anyways, so hot rods.
Screw boats, by the way.
Yeah.
I hate them.
My go-to, which I would like to have in the future, and hopefully in the near future, and I'm talking like once I get the truck thing figured out and the camper thing figured out, I want to work on getting into a more classic car.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like I have these goals for myself. My goal was
You
hopefully.
gonna get a Ranchero? What you gonna get?
Oh,
I've talked about this before.
Ranchero.
What do you want?
An old Galaxy.
Okay.
All right.
Tyler,
All right.
We had a whole episode talking about this.
what do you think about that Falcon I sent you a while
Dude,
ago?
I had a freaking hard on for 3 days. I almost went to the doctor.
Can you pull it up?
Yeah.
Is there any way you can pull it up? I want to see it.
Oh,
She's
bro.
hot. It was so my absolute favorite car of all time. It's going to always be my dream car. I
Yeah.
will own one at
Ford
some
Fairlane,
point.
two-door
1964 Ford Fairlane 2-door post. Basically the same car that was used as the Thunderbolts. The factory. They only made 100 of them. Fiberglass hood, fenders, door skirts, trunk lid, 427 side oiler, 4-speed, manual, factory radio delete, factory heater delete. Like basically, like
It's a race car.
They had to make 100 of them to compete in the because it had to be like a car that you could buy.
Yeah.
So they made like the threshold was 100.
Yeah.
Like they called them the Hemi Eaters back in the day. Like these cars, and they're so kind of like unassuming looking. It's I don't know why I like that body style of car. Like because I like the Dodge Polaras, like with the 426, what they call it, 426 max wedge with the intake manifold. It looked like it was like the size of a fucking billboard.
Oh, yeah.
And like a carburetor here and a carburetor over here.
What was it? The cross ram? No.
I think I called it max wedge heavy.
Yeah.
Is what I'm pretty sure that's what they call it. I'm not a Mopar guy. I'm more of a classic Ford guy. But that 427 side oiler with that 4-speed manual transmission, just a nasty motherfucker. Like that is such a badass car to me. Like my first car was a 63 Ford Fairlane, which is very similar other than the fact that it has like 3-inch wings above the taillights. And I will say the taillights in a 63 are way more sexy than the taillights in a 64. Those taillights on the 1963 Ford Fairlane, the way that they reflect off the inner piece of the tail, they're freaking gorgeous. Gorgeous. God, I got a boner now.
Where you going? You want a beer? Okay. So one of the previous episodes I talked about mine, full body 4-door Galaxy, because I got kids, and as much as I would like to have an old school big block carbureted Ford in there, realistically, I talked about this too, and I even talked about with my dad about it, because my dad's kind of a purist when it comes to this kind of stuff. Ford's got to have a Ford, and I know everybody else swaps the world. Okay, I get that.
You should have saw this Galaxy.
Yeah.
That listing is probably gone.
Yeah.
It was on Craigslist.
I was at Craigslist or Marketplace or something like that. But
it was a Falcon. That's what
it was a Falcon. It was like 1,000 horsepower, twin turbo.
LS.
No, I don't think it was.
Was it LS? Yes, he didn't mention it in the listing, but
I didn't look that hard.
LS.
But it was hot.
Yeah, I would just want a modest built LS with a nasty cam in it. I just want it to be loud. I want it to be fairly quick enough. I don't care if it's over geared, so it's quick for street. I'm not cruising far in it.
In a Galaxy though, you'd put an LS. Like I honestly wouldn't. I would try to go more. Like you could take like a 390 Ford and you could punch those out to like a 427 and kind of make like a clone 427 with them. That freaking rip.
I wouldn't be opposed to it. The main thing for me is my knowledge base right now. I don't know much about carburetors. Okay, like I can learn.
Ben, they make a fuel injection that bolts in place of a carburetor.
I probably have to do that. But the other thing is too is like with my budget that I'm probably going to be going into this, I'm more than likely if I find something, I'm more than likely finding something that's like, because I hate body work. I will take a clean body with no engine over a really everything was built from the inside out, because I hate paying for body work.
Yeah,
I'd rather it pains me. Like the only way I would do that is if the thing was absolutely pristine interior and perfect engine and trans combination, drivetrain was all great, and the only thing I needed was body work. I would consider that, but otherwise, I just want a complete interior. I want a complete car, and I'll even take it with no motor. But that's pretty much where I'm guessing my budget will be, and with how easy it is to basically stab an LS into everything, and I'm not opposed to putting a Ford motor in.
It's a big ass car. You need a big block in that thing.
I would prefer a big block. Like I would prefer a nice old big Ford big block.
You can take those 460s, you can punch them out to like 525s or something.
514 or
541, and they're like a stroker motor, and they're freaking nasty.
I mean, I'm not opposed to that.
Yeah.
Basically, what I want is if I'm at a stoplight,
Ben,
and I mash it, I want World War III.
Yeah.
Like, I just want loud as fuck.
Yes. 7.3 Godzilla.
Or that.
The what did I see? The new Mustang's coming out. They're going to have a factory supercharged Godzilla, I think I saw on there, or something like that. Don't quote me on that. I was scrolling through Facebook super fast on there.
I know they're coming out with a 500 horse naturally aspirated 5.0, but I did not see anything about
Jesse was just talking. We were just talking about the new Mustangs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure it was only a 5.0 you could get. Like it wasn't the 7.
Maybe it was like a kit that I was seeing or something like that, because they do sell Godzilla's like modular.
Yeah, you can order a crate Godzilla now.
Yeah, but that would be my go-to. I 4-door Galaxy with just gobs of power.
That
car
engine
seats in the back, windows down.
Engine wants a boost. Like, and if you look at the specs on that engine, it wants a boost.
Totally.
All
I'd
of
be
it.
into that. So okay, down the road, I know you got yourself a Camaro, a slow Maro.
My slow Maro.
Yeah.
My catfish.
You still have it?
Yeah, it's out.
Sands has a fleet of vehicles.
Yeah.
It's out in the back 40. I haven't touched it because I hate driving that thing. I haven't sold it because, well, every time something breaks down, it's always right there, ready to go.
Yeah.
Starts every time, except for when it's got a dead battery.
I don't know why I thought you sold that.
God, I talked about it. I've talked about it probably 6 or 7 times, but then something happens, and I was like, oh man, I'm glad I had this thing. Except in the wintertime.
Yeah. Oh God.
All right, so Sands, what's your classic car of choice? Let's do 2 things. Classic car of choice. I don't want to say unlimited budget, but like more than you think you could probably afford. And then what's what's your next stage of classic car that you think you could probably make work in your budget?
Okay. So money was no issue. Probably a 1971 Chevelle SS with the LS6 package with that 450 horsepower, 454 in the 4-speed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like
gets
that.
it, oh, yeah.
That car's got my motor running for many, many years. Like that would be like my ultimate dream muscle car. As far as something that I could be a little bit more realistic with, probably an LO swapped like Nova.
Okay.
Like a 70s Nova with a kind of a rowdy, like probably just a heads cam intake 6-liter and a 6-speed T56 behind it. Like I think that'd be super fun.
Manuals.
And then do like kind of like a pro touring with the Nova, so put some nice suspension and wheels and stuff like that on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would love if I get a gal, especially if it's a big block, I would love to have a manual behind a big block. Just something that's like, even if it's a 4-speed, something that's just super rowdy.
Yeah.
Like I have this picture in my mind of my son in the back seat. You know, I'm driving, got my bride in the passenger seat, and he just sees Dad dig for a gear, and just fucking all hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
You know, his ears are ringing. The car lifts up. You know, and Lynette has to like grab the door, and it's just like, and you see Dad just like lean forward on the wheel, just fucking ramming a gear in. It's like, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I see that like from my son's eyes looking forward. I'm like, that's what I want to be.
Probably no seatbelts in the back.
Fuck seatbelts.
My 63.
I will bolt their seats in. Me and my wife, bench seat in the front, no seatbelt. She's sliding all the way over.
My 63, no seatbelts.
Mm-hmm.
And they could pull me over and be like, never came with them.
Yeah.
Never came with them. Like, that was the dopest thing. Like, I never had to wear a seatbelt. Like, and that was my first car.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just rolling around with this thing, no seatbelt.
Wait a minute. Where'd your dad work?
State Patrol. So, yeah. But I'm honestly on the fence of, I go back and forth. I like the classic car thing. Like, I will always be a lover of that and always look out for that perfect car, that perfect project that I want for that. But I'm on the fence. I think the next like thing I want to, this is all contingent on me building a shop in my backyard, because that's the only way that my wife will let me have a project is if I have a shop.
Yeah.
Which is fair. It's fair enough. I've got already too much shit in my
Yeah.
in my
You
house
gotta make
right
more
now.
room.
Yeah.
I'm that way too, because I assume by that time, like I'm going to be in my next house that'll have a shop, or at least a big fucking garage.
I have really been getting excited about. I want a freaking 2-wheel drive 1st gen Ram.
You've been on that for probably almost
Dude,
a year and a half, 2 years now.
I don't even honestly. I would even take that body style of the D250 or whatever. Like, even if it didn't even come with a Cummins, like I would take like a standard cab short bed gasser.
Yeah.
And then find the engine.
Stab a 12 valve in there.
Dude, and just make like a little low. I want a lowered like hot rod truck.
Yeah.
Like that's what I want. Like, not to do like, it ain't gonna tow, it ain't gonna do anything specific other than just cruise
and make you happy
and just be a cool looking kind of hot rod, something around like that, right around that 500 horsepower mark.
Yeah.
Just a great little street truck. Maybe put a little wider tire on the back, just give it that kind of like that pro street look. But would I race it? Like, I wouldn't go to the track with it. I wouldn't give a shit. Like, I just want to cruise it around. Like that's what I want to have as my like.
I got a feeling that how much I know you like drag racing, you would end up taking that to track.
Oh yeah.
I don't think you would end up taking it to
Well,
because,
if
like,
they
you wanna be
open up
super-
again,
Yeah, I
like-
don't think you'd go out there being like want to be super competitive, but like being able to actually go to a track and have a sticky tire on there and get in there. Yeah, you'd be
Dude,
out there.
it'd be so
100%.
much fun. So much. It's so funny too because I used to hate those trucks so much. Thought they're so ugly, and then it just came around on me, and I freaking am obsessed with them. I'd even take one of the extended cab ones. Like, I don't care.
You make an extended cab short bed version of those.
If I did extended cab, I think I would honestly like the long bed and just have like a long, low.
Okay.
Just you know, I don't know. That to me, I think to me that would be a more feasible project for me because I could probably find a body and frame for pretty cheap, like versus my 64 Fairlane that I like. Like I'm not gonna even a clapped out one. I'm gonna be spending bucks for them just because they're the value. They just
Right.
keep going up.
Yeah.
Whereas I could pick up a 2-wheel drive gasser, yard the whatever freaking 318 or whatever bullshit was in it, inline 6 or whatever whatever it was, and kind of take off from there. I think that would be super cool. Like I'd even be like get a hold of Dave and be like, Dave, like how do we do some airbag shit on this? Like I want this thing low.
I love bag trucks.
Yeah.
I was my
Yeah.
My first Ranger. I was my second Ranger was an 01 with a 4-liter in it. My first one, you had a Bronco too. I had a Ranger
Yeah.
of that same body style. It was an 88 Ranger. The 2.9 was fuel injected. I think was yours carbureted or was your fuel injected?
Fuel injected.
Okay, yeah. 2-wheel drive, automatic, extended cab, short bed, and I wanted to bag that thing so bad.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad my dad talked me out of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was getting ready to dump so much money in that thing.
Yeah.
That was a good move.
So I got to ask you, Sands, because I have gotten some shit because I haven't done anything to my truck yet. Okay. What do you think I should do?
Ooh.
Tyler.
I use my truck. I use it. It's a purpose. I have to have it work. But what would I do?
Legitimately, a leveling kit and some decent wheels and tires and airbags.
Okay.
And I would leave it and drive it.
Yeah.
Upgrade the stereo.
Hey, stereo's actually not bad in that truck.
See,
But-
Sands, you and I are stuck in the old vehicles. We're like, even base level stereos in new cars nowadays, they're not bad.
Dude, my shit bombs.
They get down pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
So-
are coming with like factory subs and amps and
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff.
All right.
I got,
Well,
I got an 04 exterior where sometimes if I turn a corner too hard, my one speaker sounds like a death metal band.
yeah, honestly, what you just said is basically on the path that I think I'm going to go with it. Just do, I was going to drop wheel size because I have 18s now, go to a 17, and then just do a 35 1250. Honestly, I've been looking around. You could put 35s on the thing without even touching the suspension. It fits.
I know, but I would do a leveling kit, probably specifically Carly, just to get a little bit better ride out of it.
Yeah.
I honestly would do it just to pick up the front to be level with the rear because I'm not a fan of rake personally. I
mean,
I get
nothing
people
wrong with a
like
little
it.
rake.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's not something that's like an eyesore to me, but like
Right.
for me personally, I'm like, if I own a vehicle, unless it's purposefully over raked
Yeah.
just to piss people off, it needs to be leveled.
Well, here's the thing that I was thinking. If I didn't level the front, that still leaves me room to reverse level the back. The one thing that honestly that I'm a little frustrated with that truck, it sits so freaking high in the back.
Mhm.
Like even to
is.
get into the bed, like to reach over the bed, that the back end of that truck is, like I told you, I had to get an 11-inch drop hitch to tow my utility trailer to tow my side-by-side around.
It's a stock height.
And it's a
truck.
stock height truck.
It's a 2500. It's
Yeah.
not even a 1-ton.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when I showed up to pick up the trailer, and the hitch was set up for your truck, and we had to pretty much completely reverse it and like pretty much raise it all the way.
Yep.
So as much raise as it could to match up to the trailer, and I was driving like a stock 3/4 ton Chevy.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was redonk.
Yeah, the back end of that truck, but if you look at it from the side, it's really not a huge rake. Maybe it's because it's long and you don't notice it.
It's a long.
It's a long truck.
It's a long. It
I
is a
had,
long.
I had a
truck.
guy from I was over at my buddy Keith's house, and his neighbor across the street just moved up from California. And we went over to his house to check on his dog because he was in Oregon. And I pull up in front of his house, and he looks at me. He looks at the truck. He goes, "How do you drive that thing?" I was like,
Well, you see, you get in and you turn the key, and then you put it in D, and
you just kind of drive it.
Here's the thing, sir, and I noticed this actually when I moved up here from California, is especially once you get out of like city-ish areas, like I haven't actually had to parallel park anything. I can legitimately say I haven't parallel parked in minimum a year.
Yeah.
Minimum. Possibly 2. Can I still do it? Of course I can still do it.
Yeah.
Living, in San Jose and being in San Francisco and all that kind of stuff, and in Sacramento and San Diego, like having to parallel park is a must. You cannot survive down there without parallel parking.
Right.
But like having just pull into spots up here, I'm like, I can totally get why people daily drive 4-door long bed dualies. Like
Yeah, it's no big deal.
I'm not going anywhere where I need to like worry about fitting.
Yeah.
Nor if I have to worry about fitting there, I don't want to go.
Right. Like I completely refuse to go downtown. Like,
Yeah.
I will not go downtown. I don't. Yeah, there's nothing down there for
So
me.
he's probably still, if he's fresh up here, he's probably still thinking to himself like, man, how do you parallel park that? How do you park that in a parking garage?
Yeah, I
Well,
just
what about
don't.
those small spots where you can't fit? I just don't.
Yeah, just don't go there. Like, yeah, it's that easy.
Newsflash.
I have parallel parked the Duramax before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to parallel
Downtown.
park my mega cab down there and do like, I mean,
You know what? I've parallel parked in the red excursion. So I have, at least in the last year or so. It was fresh though,
yeah.
because it was before my daughter was born. We went to a doctor's appointment and I couldn't fit in the parking garage, even stock height. So
Yeah.
I had to park outside.
Yeah.
So that was probably just after this. It's a year.
Yeah.
Legit year. And before that, couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
Legit couldn't tell you.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What about you, Tyler? When's the last time you parallel parked?
Oh, fuck. If I did, I parallel parked, I think my wife's car, her Honda Pilot, which is like driving a go-kart.
Yeah, it's like parallel parking the Xterra. It's cheating.
It's kind of cheating, yeah. With my truck, no, I don't. Yeah, I just kind of, I'll drop you off here, and I'll just go around the block a few times. Like there was this one time I was picking Cass up from downtown because she had some like work thing. I literally drove around the block probably 15 times. Like I was like, I'm not even gonna try.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna try to pull into like these, especially some of the small areas down there. Like that ain't freaking happening.
Yeah.
Like I'm not even gonna. No. I'll just keep driving around.
Let's keep nosing around. Got my stereo going.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Don't need to do that.
I still think you should do the Banks intake manifold.
I do want to do that. Yeah. As far as engine stuff, that'll probably be one of the. I'll probably do S&B intake and that Banks intake manifold. I really like that.
Transmission tuning.
Transmission tuning.
God, we got old quick. We're talking about just transmission tuning.
Yeah, I know, but
You gotta tune that
but
thing,
again,
pump
when
it
you
up.
when
We're
you
talking about just a lift and tires. Like if I picked up a newer Illuma Duty, like that is all it would get.
yeah,
Would be like a Carly 2.5-inch leveling kit and some nice wheels and tires.
yeah. I mean,
And
short
I
of
would
me
drive it.
just short of me driving back and forth to work, I need that thing to
Yeah.
do what it was built to do, and that's tow.
And that's
I
why-
wanted to do it good, and I wanted to do it efficiently, because again, with the side by side, I have fun after the fact. I have fun when we get there, and that's where I can go and beat the crap out of that thing, and I don't care. It's whatever. But when the weekend's over, I want that thing hooked up, and I want it to go, and I don't want to have to worry about anything. I want my drive to be as
Uneventful.
uneventful as possible.
Boring is good.
100%, especially when you're talking about, again, a tow rig, and that's not going to change for us anytime soon. Like at the rate we're going, I'll probably have a 45-foot freaking fifth wheel by the end of freaking next year. Who knows?
Yeah.
Like
Does
that's
it mean you're
just
selling your toy hauler?
probably. I mean, it's been talked about. I mean, it's either we go to a which let's talk about that for a second here, because I just had a conversation with some other friends camping about this. Like, I would love to have, first of all, fifth wheels. They have a ton of room,
Yeah.
Oh,
like a ton of room. The things I don't like about them, though,
You screw your bed space.
You screw your bed space, but when you have that much room and storage,
Doesn't matter.
who gives a shit?
Yeah.
But I loved the size of the trailer that Sans has got, because that son of a bitch, I could put that thing anywhere.
Yeah.
I do notice the length difference even with our toy hauler now. It's long. It's a little bit longer. But like Sans' size trailer, you could get that into literally any spot and not have to be concerned about anything. Like, that's nice. Once you start getting up into the fifth wheel toy haulers, I mean, you're talking 40 some odd feet. That's a big unit. And you've eliminated yourself from a few different places, especially if you want to, like, up at Tacoma Creek, like some of those places, like that. If that campsite that we camped at was taken, like, we kind of would have been either in a field or down into some other spots that are not necessarily hard to get into. You just got to watch out for shit.
Yeah.
But what I like about big fifth wheels, the separate garage for the storage of the toy. That is something to me that is so nice, and I wish I had. Not only is it quicker to load and unload because there's more space, all the dirt and mud, and because you get your shit fucked up when you're out riding, like, so all that is contained in a garage, and also most of them have a washroom in the back of the unit. So you could go, like, if we got all freaking muddy, like, take your boots off here. You could even shower off, whatever you need to do without getting into your living space. The living space is incredible on some of these. Like, it's, you thought we were fancy. Like, if I had a fifth wheel, dude, we'd be like,
well, basically your entire floor plan, like, take away your master bedroom, because that's basically on the fifth wheel part of it.
Yeah, and that's living room.
And that's all living room.
Yeah.
I
Living room
refer
and
that
kitchen,
it's Lenny's toy haulers like
Yeah.
that. Like,
Yeah.
when I first went into Lenny's trailer, I honestly had never actually been in any trailer that nice before. And the living area was so big, I couldn't comprehend that there was a whole area blocked off.
Yeah.
That's a garage.
Yeah.
Like, someone walked in there
Yeah,
to
you
go
don't
get a
even
box,
feel-
and I was
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I thought this was the whole trailer. Like, no. I'm like, there's a 12-foot garage in here.
Yeah.
How did I not comprehend? Like, it's like when you walk into a room, you're like, something's missing. Like, so there's a secret room here. Like, I can feel the wall is too close or something like that.
Yeah.
It was like that. I'm like, holy shit, you have a whole extra. This is amazing.
Yeah, well, it's funny because, like, some people will say, like, that's not camping. Like, you know what? It is camping. We're just a little bit more luxurious than the whole tent thing. Like, you sleep in a tent, like, a tent's miserable.
Yeah.
I'll never go back.
You are putting yourself in a miserable position just to say that you were out there in the woods. Like, I'm sorry, I could connect more with the woods when I'm in my toy hauler, sitting in my recliner, looking out the window, going, "Wow, it's beautiful out here."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like the people that talk shit about people that have trailers is just because they're too broke and they can't afford a trailer, because you know their happy ass would be in a trailer if they could. 100%.
Like, the only people that should be, using tents are the folks that are walking. Like, if they're hiking. Okay, yeah, bring a tent.
Yeah.
Okay, I get that.
Yeah.
Or if you feel the need to drive your vehicle so far in the cuts
Yeah.
that you legitimately could not have a trailer, or B, couldn't even have a rooftop tent
Yeah.
on the vehicle to go that far out,
Yeah.
then I accept you having a tent. But at the same time,
At the same time, it's 2022. Like,
Yeah.
we don't need to, like, act like we're like, Neanderthals out in the bush. I know I've made you a
well, speaking of trailers, like, if personally, like, if you guys were to consider selling your trailer in, like, the near future,
Yeah.
I would actually consider buying it,
it's a nice trailer.
because
Huh?
knowing that it can fit a 4x4
Yeah.
side by side,
Yeah.
there's
You could put, like, probably 3 4-wheelers in there.
yeah, or dirt bikes.
You probably put fucking 10 dirt bikes
Yeah.
in that thing. Like,
and then it's got the bed on top and a bed on bottom, right?
yep.
So I've got 2 kids,
2 queen beds, basically,
yeah,
in the back.
and there's a bathroom, and my excursion can pull it.
Yeah.
Like I would.
Oh, I'm never gonna have to advertise any of my trailers.
No.
I'll just sell them to the people here.
Yeah. If it comes time
Maybe
for
I
like,
could look so far.
yeah, eventually, like in a year or two or something like that, if I haven't gotten to where I'm going with the whole truck bed thing or something like that, I would actually consider that because I know, like we've talked about before again, but like I like being outdoors. My wife loves being outdoors. She and I both did the tent camping thing when we had no kids. We did a tent camping trip when she was about 4 or 5 months pregnant, and my son was almost 4.
Mm-hmm.
And it was fun, but we went home, and it was like, after that, we kind of looked at each other, and I'm like, I'm not trying to say I don't want to go camp anymore, but like, I am over this tent. I'm over setting it up. I'm over doing all that. Like, I want to get there, and I want to spend time with my family.
Yeah.
I want to go do adventurous stuff with my son. I want to go, dig in the dirt. I want to chop a tree down. I want to, barbecue some shit, and I want to be able to go sleep in a heated area.
Yeah.
I could give a shit about air conditioning. Like, if it has it, great. If it doesn't, I'm not worried about it.
you would want it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the whole being able to extend your camping season to when, Memorial Day or before, because up here, Memorial Day at night, it's still 30 degrees.
Oh yeah, it gets
and
cold.
It sucks.
It gets
I can
super
tell you that
cold.
because that's the weekend we went camping last time in a tent.
Yeah.
But yes, that stuff for me. My wife and I both decided, and she camped a lot with her family when she was younger too. And she's like, I have no problem. Like I think tent camping has its place, but like, look, at this point, it's more of a time. And like, if you told me, like, I don't care if we're going to the coolest campsite and going to ride in the coolest stuff and have everything paid for when we get there. If you told me I was sleeping in a tent, I'm like, I don't want to go.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I know Sands could probably attest to this because he did a good camping trip down to Yellowstone, right?
Oh yeah.
So even just like after you get your trailer set up, like you got all your
That
shit
gets me
set up.
excited, getting shit dialed.
Like, yeah, get it all dialed. It's like, this is my home now. And then you like walk inside, especially like at night, like, hey, you want to, watch a movie or something? And like, you look out the window and you're just like in the woods. It's just,
If you want to make tea, you can make tea.
I truly feel like you experience and respect the outdoors more when you're in a trailer versus in a tent where you're like, shit, this sucks. I'm just laying here trying to go to sleep. I'm in a tent. It's muggy. It might rain. Did I put my rain fly up right? If I did, don't touch the wall of the tent because I'm gonna get soaked.
Yeah, don't do that.
Like, and then you get up and you're just like, this sucks. Like, I
Yeah.
slept like shit.
So we went to Yellowstone, and we were there for a whole entire week. So we were there Sunday to Sunday, and it just so happens the Sunday that we left was the day before they closed Yellowstone down for like the north, a bunch of the north roads being flooded out.
Yeah.
So it rained the first 3 days that we got there, and then the last day that we were leaving. And I can guarantee you that if we were tent camping,
Yeah. You would have left probably.
I would have left.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Yeah. And I think there's nothing
Well-
cooler than being in your trailer with like a storm like rolling through.
Yeah,
Like,
it was
that's
great.
so freaking cool.
It makes
was
you
great.
feel it's like you have your own little cabin in the woods.
Yeah.
It's not like I don't think of it as like, oh, I have cable TV and whatever. I think it more of like I have my portable cabin in the woods.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we were, inside watching the lightning, watching the rain. It was great. I mean, I cooked inside. We had a bathroom inside. Like, we were dry. Everything was fantastic. We had everything contained in the trailer. I didn't have to worry about whether we were going to get water in the tent. We were shuffling stuff in and out of the vehicle, whether stuff was going to remain dry. It was just all there.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, is there places for tent camping? Yeah, sure. But I don't know if I will go back to those places.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, like I get it's all about there is an aspect of connecting to nature, being outside, doing that kind of stuff. But
Go walk outside with your shoes off.
Yeah.
Connect. There you
but
go.
truly at the end of it, and if you're a diehard tent camper, that's fine. Like, we're not trying to say don't do anything, but at the end of the day, I'm almost positive the goal that we're all trying to do is
To have fun.
to A, have fun, and B, if you're there with other people, is to enjoy your time with other people.
Yeah.
There's honestly nothing like funner than having like, because we have a pretty good group of people that have toy haulers. Like, all of us have bumper pull toy haulers. Kyle and Ashley, Keith and Ashley, like our main little like riding friend group. Well, Keith's parents have one of those like Class C motorhomes that they, an older one. But we all have these little toy haulers. But it's something so like you set up like your little community in like the woods. Like you could like stage your shit. Like one of the funnest times I ever had camping. We were at oh man, it was right on the Kingston River. Fuck, what is that? It's called Country Lane. Is what it's called. Country Lane, and it was relatively small spots. But you're right on the river, like the Coeur d'Alene River, or whatever the hell it was. But like we were so close, we couldn't even open up our awnings all the way. But the way that we had it set up, we called it Party Alley, because like in between when I had your trailer, and so I pulled in and Mark backed his motorhome in, and we both put our awnings out, so it was completely covered on the top. And then we put our we have like this like the rug thing that we put out, right? It's like a plastic rug thing. So the whole floor in between all our trailers was like this rug thing, and we had like these LED lights and all. It was like it was just kind of cool. Like it's like kind of like trailer park shit, but it's like I don't know. It's kind of fun. Like you're out in the woods. You can do whatever you want. And then like you just have this little like party central area that you're just congregating at with like your gas, propane fire pit and just having a good time. Like. And none of this could be done without diesel trucks. That's where I'm going to wrap it right back around. You need a truck to be able to tow these type of things. But yeah, I absolutely. It's been the funnest thing for me. Even without the side by side, it was still fun. Mm-hmm. Like because I would unhook the truck and just go drive the truck on the roads, and just go explore doing that, which is still fun. Like. Let's face it, we all got a beer in the freaking center console. We're going up, driving like 4 miles an hour, but it's still fun. Like, I don't know. I just love that shit, man. Yeah. I'm doing it this weekend too, so I'm jacked.
I'm excited to get to that point with my little family. I hope it's next summer that we have something, because the original plan is like I want to have the truck. If we're going to continue on with the truck bed camper scenario, I want to have a truck, by this year. And then hopefully by the end of next summer or sometime next summer, have a truck bed camper for it. So we can go out and start doing stuff.
Well, you might be buying my toy hauler then.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, nothing is, here's what we got to do. And I know this, I'm going to say this on here because I know our wives don't listen.
Yeah.
Is we need to, and the hard part for me is I need to somehow get me and Lynette to go with you and Cassie on a camping trip without our kids.
Yeah.
Okay, so we need to find a weekend where like our in-laws or my in-laws are in town.
Perfect weekend this weekend. Drop the kids off. Do you have your in-laws in town this weekend?
No, I don't have any.
You find someone. What's Heather doing?
It's going to take some planning.
Sands, what are you doing this weekend?
I'm going with you.
Do you know what I'm doing this weekend? I'm literally making this entire trip just so I could dump the shit tank in my trailer. I'm going up to Kalispell Casino.
Wait, you don't dump that after every trip?
I try to, but if they're like last week when we camped at Priest Lake, they didn't have a dump there, and the dump that was on the way, there was like 30 campers there.
Oh.
And so we use this.
Is it the one in Deer Park?
No, I don't want to go. Do you know what they charge for that shit?
Well, I mean, I usually have to like get fuel there, so I just go buy whatever it is, the $30 worth of fuel, and then they just give you the thing.
Oh, well, they're like the same price as a camping spot at Kalispell. So we just used it. I mean, $10, I think. You can leave it. Like we use this stuff called Happy Camper. It's like a powder that you put in the shit tank. That shit is absolutely amazing. Any camper out there that doesn't use Happy Camper, freaking give it a try. It is our friends. Their shit tank stunk so freaking bad. Like I rolled up. I think it was a memorial. We rolled up to we had our trailers already there. I'm like, what the fuck is that smell? It was their camper, and they're just using like the pods, and I'm like, Cass, go give them some of our shit. She literally poured it in there. Within 10 seconds, the smell was gone. Like this powder shit is amazing. So I'll leave it in there a week, especially when it's like this weather. It's not too hot, so I know it's not like just baking in there. But yeah, that's what I'm doing this weekend. So if you're not doing anything, come out to Kalispell. I'm gonna bring the side by side. We're gonna do. I'm just going up there Saturday night to Sunday. Yeah. We're gonna go do a rip. Cass's mom is coming with me. She's gonna tow her side by side up, and she's gonna stay in our trailer. But dude, if you guys had a babysitter, you could totally freaking rent one of the cabins, like literally right across from where I'm gonna be camping at. And we can go freaking have fun up there.
So the goal that I need to do is we need to find one of the weekends that her parents are up to leave the kids at home.
Yeah.
And we need to go do we need to stay with you in your RV, in your trailer, because we need to get Lynette sold on that specific trailer.
Yeah.
Then when it comes time, it'll be easy.
You want to further solidify it?
What?
Wait until like Thanksgiving when it's cold out.
Oh, she knows.
And
she already knows.
And the inside of the
Yeah.
trailer is going to be like
She'll understand.
65 degrees.
She
You guys need to come up. You know what you guys need to do? So we just started this ritual. I don't want to call it ritual, but
Ritual.
We started this thing that we're doing. It's called Friendsgiving.
Mm-hmm.
So up in the woods, Cass's mom brings her propane. It's called the Big Easy. It's like it's a turkey cooker thing.
Mm-hmm.
She cooks the turkey up there. We have all the fixins, everything. Everybody's just hanging out. We have our big circle of trailers. Like last year, we had just people just come up for the day. It's right at Tacoma Creek at the 4 mile mark.
Mm-hmm.
And boom, you bring her up. You can even bring the kids up. I mean, for a day, if you want, you guys could grab a cabin at Kalispell, come up, meet us at Tacoma Creek. We could rip you around, have fun, hang out, and then you guys could drive 5 minutes back to Kalispell and go stay in the cabin with your kids.
The thing is, I need to get her to stay the night in the trailer.
No, I know, but
that's what will sell her on it. I'm not saying she's not sold, but that's what it'll be like. This is it.
Yeah.
That's my goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah.
We'll have to organize that.
Wow, it's probably one of the longest podcasts we've ever done.
Almost. I think we've done a 2 hour and 20 minute one
Did
time.
we? Oh, wow.
I can't remember what it was. I think it was with a guest at one
What time
point.
is it?
Yeah.
What time are we at, Corey?
We're at 1:45.
Nice.
1:45. Nice.
Wow.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've enjoyed having Sands on the podcast. We can have him on again. If you have questions for him, you can post them up in our Facebook group or on the YouTube.
Or his cell phone number is
509 Hoya Hoya Hoya
I-
Totem Pole
I
Sands.
promise new fire who dis. But I promise to have some better Duramax disses next time.
Yeah.
I'll bring a list. I'll be prepared.
And if this is your first time listening to our podcast, yes, we do talk about everything that could be possibly related to a diesel truck, deviated by like 10 to 20%. We're all motorheads here. We all like engines. We like doing things. We like being family men, all that kind of good stuff. So if this is your first time listening, I greatly appreciate you making it through all the way to the end here, because this was a long one. Typically our podcast is
You're
usually
welcome.
anywhere between 45 minutes to an hour. But I will say I have gotten some comments recently where people are like, make them longer, make them longer, make them longer.
well, you talk for 2 hours. How about that?
Yeah, we're already giving you twice a week now. Like, holy shit. Buy more parts.
Like shit.
So that being said, everybody, Sands, again, greatly appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, thanks for
do you have
having
any
me on.
final words for our lovely listeners?
Tyler mentioned this real quick. I want to touch on this. That he said none of this would be possible without a diesel truck. And I speak from experience after having towed my trailer all the way to Yellowstone from Spokane, Washington, with a half-ton gas Chevy. It was terrifying. There wasn't anything wrong with the truck, but man,
And you were within spec.
I was within spec. Like everything on paper says that this should be fine. You know what? I mean, it worked. Like I made it back. Nobody died, but there were some moments there, especially going through Montana.
That's a heavy trailer.
Yeah, if nobody's ever went through Montana and like caught some of those crosswinds and stuff like that trailer was doing whatever it wanted to with that half ton.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I had everything hooked up, like everything was running proper, and I was still like I was white knuckle for a couple of moments, and it had absolutely no power to go up the hills.
Yeah.
And it's a newer, like it's a 2014 half ton, like it's 5.3, so I mean it wasn't anything special, but man, it's the couple times I've towed it with my uncle's 6.7 Power Stroke, it's been a dream.
Night and day.
It's been a dream.
Yeah.
So folks, I mean if you're doing a lot of towing, if you're doing a lot of towing, just make the investment. Like you're on this podcast, you're listening to this because you probably have a diesel or you may be thinking about getting a diesel, but yeah, it's worth it if you're doing a lot of towing for sure.
Yeah.
These are the facts.
It's
These
a
are-
night
these
and
are
day.
the
It is
facts.
truly a night and day difference.
And it's not just GMs. I towed it with a F-150 EcoBoost. better, but still,
There's a weight difference there. There's a weight difference.
I was right on the bump stops the whole way, so I mean there was that. But
That is
I mean,
one hell of a heavy trailer.
It's
It's a beast.
She's a thick girl, but my God, I love that thing.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been a great episode. I appreciate everybody tuning in. We will see you on the next one.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe and check us out at dieselpowerproducts.com.